Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Red Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Coltin Schachtner-Kramer. Red Effect Podcast is brought to you by Redstar. Redstar, where our red makes you green. Today, I have three guests with me. I got the owner of Redstar, Ryan Mullenhoff, Jerry Osten, the operations manager, and Tom Stanton, the head of Redstar Brandon. So we're going to start our first question off to Ryan. And Ryan, can you please explain to us the founding of Redstar?
Oh boy. So this is our 20th year in business. Me and the wife started it back then. And I started it out of necessity back then. When you get married at 20, have your first kid at 21, you need to do better. So what we found is the love of agriculture and the love for helping people. So we started out with just seed. We grew the business into starters, expanded into more seed lines, and then we went into chemical, and then we started our Redstar branded in 2018, where we started our own product line of starters, foliars, and then in 2020 we switched our name from RMS to Redstar, and that is what we currently have today, and that's our product line. So today we manufacture fertilizer. We sell in 11 states, and we have dealers throughout. So yeah, it's been fun.
So to talk about that Redstar branded side of things, Tom, can you please explain how you and Ryan met and how Redstar branded became a thing?
Sure. Should I tell them the real story on how we met?
Sure.
Okay. So I worked for one of the major distribution companies. We'll just put it that way. And I met Ryan because a couple of our sales team at that time had said, you know, this guy's got a really good business and I think they might want to sell their business. And so we should go talk to him. So that's when I met Ryan and Kristen, sat down with them and, you know, they didn't really want to sell their business, but they wanted to just kind of explore and see what it looked like. And so that's how I got to know them. And I was very impressed because I've kind of been in the specialty starter business for quite a while. And I was very impressed with what Ryan had built in such a short period of time. And compared to where I had come from, some of the big distribution companies, you know, he was doing some things that I was like, wow, I wish we could do it that way. So anyway, we kept talking. And as I got to know them, you know, I just, you know, I'm like, you know what? You guys have got a great company here. I don't think you would fit very well in a big corporate environment. So anyway, down the road, I ended up losing my job with that major distribution company. Had my knee replaced, was actually sitting home. It was December 14th or 15th. I'm cleaning out a closet. Okay. And Ryan calls me. He starts talking, asking me questions. And I'm like, I don't think you know I'm with the company anymore. And he goes, you're not? I go, nope. He goes, you need to come run Redstar branded for me. I was like, okay. So we ended up meeting just a couple of days later. I mean, it was like pretty quick.
And 5 consecutive times after that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I like to eat. I mean, but, so I told him, I says, I'm not making a decision until Valentine's Day. And I looked at a lot of different jobs. I really didn't want to go back to getting on airplanes. I really liked what Ryan and Kristen had built, and it's just a very family-oriented atmosphere. And so that's kind of how I got to Redstar. So that's the first part of your question. The second part of the question, what is Redstar branded? Redstar branded is it's a company that's focusing on products that fit the farmer today. There's a lot of different avenues today when you look at specialty fertilizer and how people view it. Some people think, yep, it's got to be all biologicals or it's got to be all foliars. You know, our belief is that what's right for the farmer is right for Redstar, but we believe in basically foundational agronomy. And that is you take the old, you take the new, you put them together, and that's what fits best. So in a nutshell, that's what Redstar branded is to me.
Awesome. So Jerry, you haven't talked yet. So how did you get here to Redstar? Well, because you're the most senior employee other than Ryan and Kristen, aren't you?
These guys own parking place.
He does.
Correct. Been here 10 years. Actually, I didn't find Redstar. Ryan RMS found me. Ryan and Kristen, along with another employee that no longer works here, they came to me and asked me if I'd be interested. And to be honest with you, I wasn't looking for a job, but looking back 10 years ago, I'm very glad that I chose or they came to me and then I was able to choose the role because they've been very good to me and my family, and they're just great people to work for. Along with what Tom said, it seems like it has a corporate setting, but it feels like a family operation, which it is a family operation because Ryan and Kristen both own it. Their son Jackson is a part of it. Well, he's still trying to get through school and do those kinds of things, but he's still part of it when he can be. So yes, it's been very nice. So yeah.
Awesome. So the next question, I'll go back to you, Jerry.
Okay.
So you just kind of explained some of it, but what truly makes Redstar different than your major co-ops or major distributing company?
Well, what I like about it is one, he always wants to be better. And when we first started, we prided ourselves on the service side of things. That was huge. And I think to maybe back up a little bit, that's what got us to this point right now is our service to the people in this area. We had the best nurse trailers. We had the best, we were open quite a few more hours than most other places. At 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, you could pull in here and grab
Let's be
some
honest.
fertilizer.
I live here, so who has to get up early and who has to stop
Well,
late?
with that, we've also had to fix a lot of mistakes that you've made by running things over and
This is
things
true.
like that. But yes, exactly. Yeah. You live here. People knew that. They appreciated that. And that's what got us, I think, to the next level. But honestly, I think really it wasn't that, until maybe now that Tom's here or whatever, we never really created anything better. We wanted a quality product and we wanted to have the best service. So
If I can jump in, you talk about service, Jerry. So, I've had a pretty decent business up in South Dakota, Minnesota for starter. And so those folks have followed me to Redstar. And we've always had trouble getting product to some of those places because some of those places are a long ways from any place, right? And so if they would call and say, "Hey, I need starter, can you get it here tomorrow?" It was like 5 days from them before you could get it there. And I just have to say on that service side, the last 3 years, my guys every year, and this year the same thing. I can't believe we call and want fertilizer tomorrow. You actually can get it 350 miles the next day. So that service side isn't just locally, it's across that 10 states. I mean, just the Wyoming one, boom, boom, next day it's there. The service is real.
yeah, it really is. And it does help because it's all about timely applications and we have to be there. And yeah, we've kind of ramped up the trucking side of things. We never really had that. I think when I started with Ryan, we had 197 Mac that made
Still got it.
Yep.
Still got it.
Made a lot of trips to Sioux City, Nebraska, Nebraska. And but it was tough.
I went traded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ryan, same question to you. What makes Redstar different to you? Because you're the owner, you were the one who had the vision to set out. What were some of the things that you wanted to do that you saw maybe other people weren't doing that you wanted to fill that area?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. So back when we started and we were just doing seed, I was approached by another company of selling starter fertilizers, and 15 years ago, nobody had starter on their planter. So we started one by setting planters up because it was, I felt back then there was a need for it. And as it grew, more and more people did it, whether we did it or other people did it, and now it's a mainstay in Nebraska that you have to do it. So, and starters turned into a stepping stone. It's great. We can put our biologicals there. We can put our fungicides there. It's went to so much more. So, I guess I should back up too. And when we did starter, then we went to 32, put our first UAN tank up in the area. Within, I don't know, 60 miles, there was nothing. And now everyone's switching from anhydrous to 32. And now is that us? I don't know if that's all us, but I'd like to say I had a part in that. So, our starters are red. So I think we do a great job in marketing our product and getting our name out there. But, yeah, I think our service is probably and I know everyone has great service, but I truly think if you do what's right, like what Tom said, by the farmer, you do right by yourself. So,
Yeah. And Ryan, you had, I mean, that's one of the things that attracted me to Redstar is you had a very good base of products already in your starter lineup and your foliar lineup that, you know, don't quite know how it happened, but it happened. You have a
I'm not
knack
sure how it did either.
for picking the right stuff. And maybe it was Jerry. I don't know.
We figured out what worked in the
Yes.
air. That's what we did, and then one point Ryan's like, we need better quality. And then all of a sudden we were like, okay, he was pretty big on, I want to brand my own starter fertilizer.
Mhm.
That was a good.
It was out of necessity too,
Yeah.
because you can't preach quality, you can't preach all these things if you're not it. So,
Right.
how do you do it? You do it yourself. So,
And I was to be real honest. I was like, no, we're not doing that. I kind of dug my feet in, and Ryan's like, no, we have to do it, and he did it, and it's been good for him. So
I can't believe you'd ever do that, Jerry.
I'm not that stubborn, really.
So since we're talking about making your own fertilizer, this is a good point. Ryan, can you explain the manufacturing facility that came online, just to overview of it and what that allows us to do to provide to our customers better?
yeah, so we started that we started this about 2 years ago, the idea of it, and we went online in February or so. So now we can take your conventional fertilizers, we can melt them down, we can react them, we can make your EDTA chelates, we can make melted urea. We have our own. One of my favorite products now is Finish Line. It's truly one of the only thing that I know of on the
It is.
market that it's not just good for us, it fits the farmer, and it was a need for the farmer. Nebraska is a heavily irrigated side dress area, and we weren't doing what the farmer needed. So I don't know. I'm biased, but
I think we were doing what the farmer needed. We just wanted to get to amp it up just
The
a
next
notch,
level, yeah.
just go
Yeah.
another notch higher and without spending any more money, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what maybe you guys have figured out is how to do that.
Well, I think a lot of it is, our industry is dominated by a lot of large companies, and they've made some very large investments in fertilizer manufacturing facilities, and they've made products. And, as time and science and technology change, those products haven't changed with how, for example, hybrid seed corn changed. I mean, look at how hybrid seed corn has changed just the 20 years since you've been in business. It's night and day. But the fertilizer industry hasn't changed like that. And so I think that gives us the opportunity to say, okay, what's the demand? What does that crop really want? Does it want this form of nitrogen, or does it want this form of nitrogen? Does it want this form of phosphorus, or does it want this form of phosphorus? So with the manufacturing facility, we can now do that, and we can give the farmer, we can give the plant what it really desires, and we can give it to it at the right time. And I think that's one of the things that's going to set us apart long term.
Yeah, definitely. It allows us to control our own destiny with the products we have.
Yes.
So my next question, I'll start back with Ryan here. So what has been your biggest challenge with Redstar in your whole time here? What keeps you up at night the most?
Hiring Jerry.
That would say
It was a blessing. I agree.
well, oh boy, I don't know. So to do right, but as we grow, that I mean, obviously there's always growing pains as you grow, and to do it the right way and to do it, so everybody's happy, that's difficult. I mean, I work with my wife every day of the year, so that has its blessings almost every day. So, but that truly is probably one of my favorite things is that we can go to work together. We can do that. We can go home together. We don't have to take work with us. But when you build something together with someone, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So the challenges of just you're gonna have that in every business. So
Mhm. Challenges every time you look out your back window, you see it sitting there.
yep.
So, Jerry, same question to you. What's been your biggest challenge so far?
Ryan's drive. Never wants to quit. Like we get done with something and he's always got something going on in the back of his head about getting to the next level. And it's hard to keep geared up with one, employees, having enough of those, and two, just knowing how it's going to work. Like Ryan's everything will be okay, and I'm probably not quite that way. I'm like, okay, let's see it work first, and then it'll be okay. And yeah, but we wouldn't be here if he didn't have that drive. I'm telling you, we wouldn't be. I mean, if we all sat back and just said, well, yeah, let's just be happy with 32 and chemical, and maybe a little bit of starter that we could buy from the next guy down the road, we wouldn't be in these situations. We wouldn't be having this talk today. We wouldn't be building a manufacturing plant. And but it'd be nice sometimes if Ryan would get a little more grounded and we could breathe a little bit once in a while. But it also makes it exciting. So yeah,
That'll be the next life, Jerry.
Labor Day's coming.
Yeah.
Well,
So, Tom, same question to you.
it's a really good question. I'm going to answer it this way. We have the same challenges as everybody else. But the difference is that our leader, Ryan, instead of when most companies have a challenge or something goes wrong, they look to blame somebody and find out who did it and then go after them like with a pack of wolves. That's not how Redstar works. When there's a problem, it's like, how do we find a solution? I've never been in and worked in such a team environment in my 31-year career as Redstar. Our challenges are the same as any other business, but it's how we react to those issues and problems is what sets Redstar apart. And Ryan and Jerry, Jerry heads up the operations. I mean, yep, okay, this is what happened. How do we fix it? How do we get it done? And that just doesn't happen in most companies and environments today.
Okay. So we'll start with Jerry. Jerry, you've been here the longest and you've seen Redstar.
Longer than Ryan.
Well, longest paid employee. So
You don't get
Has its own parking spot.
yeah, has the VIP spot out front. So you've been here, you've seen the company grow. Where do you see it going in the future?
Boy, like I said before, Ryan doesn't slow down. So it's open ended. I don't know if Ryan keeps hiring some of the quality people that have come after myself. It's endless. There's nothing that's going to slow it down. And I think right now Ryan's young enough that he doesn't get set in his ways. He's always willing to learn, and I think Tom comes with a lot of great ideas to Ryan, and Ryan's like, let's figure it out. Let's make it work. And if they can't figure it out, they'll find somebody that'll figure it out for them. And I don't think there is a shop right now. I don't know where it's going, and it'll be fun to watch it.
Mhm.
In 20 years, that's making me real old. So be walking around here with a walker. So
If we're here.
yeah, we're still walking.
Exactly.
But we got red light lager.
That's right.
There we go.
We're going.
So, Tom, where do you see the company going? You've been here 2 years, you said?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5.
And where do I see the company going? One, I see us continuing to serve our current customer base passionately and can you continue to overdo it with them. Two, I think our focus on foundational agronomy and merging the old way with the new way, it works. We've seen it. We do plots every year. We see it work. I think that is, as we navigate through this whole change going on in agriculture right now, right? With, the whole carbon initiative that's going on, soil health initiative that's going on, how do we better protect our soils going on? Ryan has embraced technology wholeheartedly. I mean, he's dragging me literally into the 21st century, and it's great.
We
It's a
call
good
that
thing.
Tech time with Tommy.
Tech time with Tommy.
Kicking and screaming. Nonetheless, he's
once a
getting
week we have tech time with Tommy. But his passion for technology merged with the old way of doing things is really giving us, I think, a very strong path forward for not only our current customers, but also our future customers, whether that be dealers or growers. The future's bright, and we're continually looking for new ways, new technologies, whether it's from the United States or Europe or Mexico, wherever. We're looking for those new technologies, always reaching out. I mean, coming to work one day last year, and he goes, "Hey, we got a call with this company from the Netherlands," and I'm like, "The Netherlands? What? Are we getting Viking ships, or what are we doing?" But it was really good, and since that year ago, we're down that road, and now I see where it's going to go long term. But I think the future's bright, and I'm excited about where it's going to go.
Awesome. So Ryan, this company's your second baby. So where do you see this company going?
Oh boy. I was always told that you're never supposed to have a goal, because once you reach a goal, what's your next step? So I've always tried not to do that. And I've always, once I felt like we were good enough at a point that we could do the next thing. But I have a real passion for helping the next generation. I truly think I love going to talk to colleges, to fraternities and whatnot that's in the ag sector. And how do you bring that next generation into ag? And I think we're doing some pretty cool things of giving them opportunities to set themselves up as a Redstar dealer, giving them other opportunities, whether it's application or one of them other things that's in the industry. But that's our step forward progress, I think, going forward. Will we keep expanding the ag sector? Absolutely. I mean, that's all I know. So I'm not going to go sell jewelry. I don't know anything. So
Me neither.
yeah, I guess Colton, you've been here for 6 months or so.
Yep.
And what brought you here, and where do you see it?
Oh yeah, I like that. Turn it on the host. Here we
Okay.
go.
So yeah, what brought me here is I was ready for a change, and I needed somewhere where somebody could help me take me to the next level. And I saw that here, where not only were you guys willing to accept me and accepted me very well as a young guy, you were willing to educate me and help educate me in things that I was very weak on. And that's why I came here, was to take the next step in my career. And the sky's really the limit. We were doing a lot of great things, a lot of unique things, whether it be our test plots, which we have close to 800 acres out this year. So that's a huge advantage to us in having our own manufacturing facility, and that family feel with everybody's opinion as is considered, because having everybody have their own opinion really helps us move forward. And just because I see it one way and you see it another doesn't mean one of us is wrong. We can both be right and see it two different ways.
Amen to that.
You're not married yet.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
So when we talk about Redstar products, you guys obviously have a lot of experiences with it. So what is the most underrated product that Redstar branded has that farmers aren't using right now, but they definitely should be?
It's good. I'll take that one. I'll take that one first. Most underrated product we have. Underrated or underutilized? I'm going to go underrated. I think we have several of them, but I'm going to pick one. And one of them is Red Shield, and it's a fairly new product. that we developed last year. When I say we, it wasn't just me, but it's a team, right? It takes a team to do things. And it's an old technology that has been put with a new technology. And those two, like 1 + 1 is going to equal like 2.5. I mean, when you put those two technologies together, I think the issue is it's so new. The plot results we saw with it, the things we saw on the field with it. I think it's underrated because we just haven't had enough time with it. But I think as we go down, the road here to 25, 26, 27, I think Red Shield is probably going to be a number one product for us.
So Ryan, what do you think the most underrated product is?
All of them.
All of them? Well, we got to pick one.
You got to pick one.
They're like
right.
they're like my babies. I like each one of them.
Yeah.
So, if I had to pick one, Breakdown is one of my favorite products. It does so many things, and so many people think that it's just a stubble digester, which it is, but what it does for your soil and what it does for soil health, there's so much more. So, that's the education part of it. Is so many farmers and my dad included, is, oh, I don't need it to get rid of my stocks. That's not the meat and potatoes of it. That's just
the visual. That's just the visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just what you see.
Mm-hmm.
It works great. We've done trials, independent trials, and it just shines every time. So
here, I'm gonna give this to Jerry. Here, Jerry, this one. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, you're up, Jay.
I'm up. So
You can't say boost.
I got out of sales a little while ago, so I'm a little behind on what the products all do, the newer ones. But I will tell you two of the products that maybe got us a better look than the competitions, the guys down the road, is Elevate Plus and Summer Solution. Those two are older products that we've sold for a lot of years, but they set ourselves apart when we really didn't know what we were doing back in the day. But they made everything work, and it worked a lot better.
the old still is good.
Yeah, it worked. And I dig my feet in a lot of times. Tom will come up with a new product every day if you let him. And as manufacturing and that kind of stuff, it's hard to keep up on those and know what they all do when you don't get to do them every day. But I would trust that he's probably doing the right things and working in the right direction. And I think he's using a lot of the older products that we've had out there, and we pair them into a new product, which just makes it a little bit better. And am I right, Tom? Have you used some of the ones that
You're right.
we've had for a while, and we just try and make it a little bit better and
just tweak them a little bit.
like you said earlier, figuring out what the crop needs at different times, and maybe the extra that's been there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what Ryan said earlier, all of them, and he's right. All of our products have a specific fit, right? Depending on the crop, the timing, and as we've experienced this year, the weather, right?
And if they didn't work, we weren't afraid to get rid of them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We've made plenty of mistakes by making some of them. I mean, and they didn't work or they didn't fit the area, but
Right.
We're not afraid to admit mistake either.
And I guess the products that we build this year, maybe it's not that product that you need. Maybe it's this one, because we build the products on nutrient demand curves. So when we're out tissue testing or soil sampling and stuff, maybe this year Elevate Plus is the right one. Maybe this year Red Shield is the right one. So it's not a one size fits all.
No.
It's tailored to fit your needs.
Yeah.
So.
Not to make the podcast last any longer, but what we talked about all winter, the plan we put together based off the last 3 years of kind of dry.
Yeah, went
We had to throw that out. We had to throw that whole plan out the window. But thank goodness that we've got, as Jerry said, a really good base of products. And I think, the old plus the new is, again, I think that's where we're going long term.
Perfect. So my final question for you, gentlemen, is look into your crystal ball. What things do you think are going to happen in agriculture in the next 5, 10, 20 years? What innovations do you think are going to come down the line? So we'll start with Tom.
In 20 years, Jerry and I are going to be gone. So there's my 20-year. 5,
To be
10.
honest, Tom, what are you gonna do in 20 years?
Exactly.
Not
I'll be
doing this.
working.
Exactly.
I'll be working.
All of us will be.
Yeah, because you won't be old enough to retire yet in 20 years. So yeah, I'll still be working.
We'll just be tired.
Crystal ball in the ag industry. There's a lot of really great companies that have been around a long time, whether you look at chemistry companies or whether you look at fertilizer companies. And they've invested lots of money into agriculture. And those investments, those capital investments over time have to be reinvested in. And we're reaching that time, right? Where a lot of those things are kind of reaching their climate. And so I think what you're going to see, you're seeing a lot of new things happen here the last 10, 15 years with biologicals. And I think you're going to see that continue to move forward. But when you look at what it's going to be like, technology, I've heard this before on other podcasts that are out there, that technology is going to change agriculture more the next 10 years than it did the last 50. Well, that's my lifetime. I believe it with what I see. And so, we're going to try to continue at Redstar branded, at Redstar. We're going to try to continue to stay on the cutting edge, maybe not the bleeding edge, but at least the cutting edge of that technology. But in 10 years, the autonomous tractor thing, drones being autonomous and spraying, I think it's going to shock you what's going on in 10 years on that side of it. That's about as far as I can go out, Colton, is about 10 years. But fertilizer enhancements, we're going to continue to see, nanotechnology, which we're working with, is just going to continue to change things. I think the traditional blow and go strategy, blow all my fertilizer on in the fall and then plant my crop, I think that's going by the wayside. And what we're doing with placement of fertilizer by the row, I think is going to continue to, we're going to kind of do reverse here, and that thing is going to start growing again, just because there's so many other opportunities, not just with like starter fertilizer or biostimulants, but the new things that we're learning because of DNA testing in soil. It's
Stole my thunder.
well, that's okay. Walt Disney said you have to hear it 3 times to remember it, so you can say it again. But it's things like that there's things that are affecting our yield that today we don't see, because if you can't measure it, how do you grow it?
Mm-hmm.
When we start measuring those things, which some companies are that we're working with, those things are going to be game changers for us long term. And that's going to change not only the fertilizer and the chemistry industry, but also seed as well.
So Ryan, Tom kind of stole your thunder, but we'll let you go.
Yeah.
So obviously technology is a big important thing to me. And he touched on the DNA testing, but when you can take a soil test and map a farm with your side by side, and when you can show diseases, when you can show what your biology is in the soil on a per
10 by
foot,
10
yeah,
meter.
per foot square, like that. Just, we're out there poking holes with soil test, and we're saying that that's practical on 2.5 acres, and we're taking 1 or 2, 6 cores in that deal and saying that that's an accurate representation of our farm. I mean, that technology's here. That's only going to be perfected. And then when we can place fertilizer where it is, feed the crop what it needs when it needs it. The blow and go, I think, is that in 10 years, it'll completely change. And as the government makes you do more things, and we're not going to be able to do that stuff, we all have to farm better.
That's right.
And place it right. So more is not better all the time. So.
Mm-hmm. So Jerry, where do you see it?
The best for last, Jerry.
Ryan said it there, and we're doing a little bit of it, but I think it's gonna catch on, and more currently, as of today, we're doing some leaf testing through a deal, and we're getting instant results, what the crop needs at this time. We were always doing some tissue testing, but we had to send it away to get it. Now we can take it right in the field. It isn't instant at this point, and that's where I'm going with this. I think down the way it will be instant because it's just going to get faster and everything's going to get better. But you can pull what you need, and you can put it on tomorrow, know it today, put it on tomorrow, and help that plant, because in a week or 2 weeks, that, correct me if I'm wrong, that plant might be on to something else that it needs. So,
It's
No,
a
you're right.
snapshot of the plant's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know, with you guys are saying blow and go, but we can just administer a little bit all the time in a lot of different products, and maybe we can cut some costs by doing that and still hit 350, 400 bushels down the way if that's where it's headed. I don't know. I'm not that smart of a person. I just hanging out here at Redstar.
I think you had the best answer of it.
So
Alrighty, well, that's gonna wrap
Colton,
up.
what about you?
So,
You're the youngest
yeah.
one, so
Turn it on the host. What do you think? 5, 10, 20 years?
So in the next 5 years, I do believe, like they said, there's going to be a significant amount of information come out, not only about soil health, but the soil diseases that we have. I think from where Tom and I are, where there's not really a lot of info systems on planters, those guys are going to want to be going out and paying the money to put those on and being pretty happy they did. And then we look at the drone technology. I've seen a self-driving tractor in the field. Now, it had 2 John Deere techs following it, so it's not there yet.
well,
But
to be
that's
fair, that's a
coming.
John Deere, so it probably needed 2 techs.
Just following around anyways. But whether we like it or not, that technology is coming. You look at John Deere making a 900 plus horse tractor. Things are only going to get bigger, and I'm afraid we're going to lose some more small farms, and farms are only going to get bigger. But that's where I see it in the next 5 years, next 10 years. We're going to really have this fertilizer and crop nutritional thing figured out, and we're going to really keep advancing that way. And who knows, maybe we'll actually get a new chemistry to apply to start killing weeds again. That'd be nice to have. But that's where I start seeing it going. Just technology continues to improve. And I agree. I believe in the next 10 years, if not the next 5, we'll advance faster than we've ever before. And it's important as both the people supplying the inputs and the people using the inputs to try and stay on the cutting edge of it.
I agree.
Not bad.
Sounds good. Well, that was the first episode of the Red Effect podcast. Thank you for listening, and you can find us anywhere where you listen to podcasts.